Hello, people. Let's talk about this guy being sued. Uh, he's a viral bass player, not famous for me. I didn't know the guy. Uh, I subscribed because why not? So he plays jazz fusion, if I got it right. And I don't have much to say beyond watching two videos of him, and I think he got it right. Okay, so how to avoid being sued today as a composer? It's a very interesting question, and this will lead to a very ironic conclusion. Okay, it's a very ironic solution that might mean the end of MIDI mockup. And then I am going to be sad because I worked so much on my wonderful system. See, it's not wonderful because not even there, but I can. Let's bring again. So, um, end of mockup. Can you believe? Yes, we have some reasons to think about this, my friend. So, what happens is that we don't see any good indicator that AI is not going to be used to absolutely destroy things and bring everything in a chaos. Okay, I try to keep musical and not to go in the problem of the dark elites, because I have a little bit of honor to my philosophy degree, and I don't want to speak nonsense. So, as many conspiracy theorists speak, not because I find conspiracy theorists to be a qualifier, so as fascist or something like this, but because many of them, I think they lack of the academic and epistemological rigor necessary for this, and this is normal because of course they need to develop the research in a more independent manner, and many of them, they are journalists or they are like historians, these people, and as you know, without philosophy you won't fight the big boss, my friend. Without knowing, for example, the difference between a valid argument and the truth of a conclusion, it's crucial. Now, this I teach in my philosophy for composers module, if I can call it like this, because it's like a combination of different disciplines to help you survive in the search for a minimum of integrity nowadays. Okay, so let's come back. The conspiracy thing would be the root of this Duhainanda, of this chaos that we start to see in the world. Now let's try to speak about this musically. Musical terms of musical industry, musical dynamics. He's been sued for plagiarism. No, he's suing for doing a video against plagiarism. So he played bassline, then they used this for AI, and then in this video he comments about the morons, what they do very well. He does what he does very well. He does better than me, so he's a 13 million abonnente, my friend, subscribers. So I should even pay a guy a YouTube course to learn. But I think it's better to spend my time practicing Prima Vista than practicing this marketing logic at all costs, no? Anyways, he comments very well on the stupidity of people complaining about he doing a video just asking for justice. Like, he creates the thing and then he wants to not that this is not abused by AI or plagiarism, etc. So then he writes, so your the commenter here. So your bass line, you do not own the bass line, you own the guitar, but not the sound the guitar makes. So he comments all these stupid comments. And the conclusion that I got after this, principally, not because of the technology of the AI, and not because of some few, let's say, AI criminals, but because the support that these idiots are apparently getting, I start to think that there is no way back. Okay? Do you know the most important song of Iron Maiden? The evil that men do lives on and on. And this has a lot of truth. So some types of Pandora boxes, when you open, it will be hard to bring things in order. Not because of AI, but because of the combination between AI and the systematic stupidity that we have in our time. Okay? And it's nice that we have such viral channels, because I think he's almost like a stupidity experiment. He can point so many stupid people writing absolutely outrageous nonsense. Okay? I don't have the screenshots of other comments. I would like to find. No one robbed you out of anything. You have no property over sound waves. Like, the fascinating thing with stupidity is that we are trained, at least in philosophy, we are trained to deal with sharp arguments. And then when we get things like this, we we get a kind of total brain stop. Okay. So no one robbed you of anything. You have no property over sound waves. So this is a very interesting thing. So because of course he has the property about what he created. Now the question of the plagiarism is very clear. Is your creative intent? Is your creative intent? In some cases, I admit that there is a great zone, but in a lot of cases, and of course now it will be very clear, it is very, very, very clear that the intent with AI will be more and more exploitation. But you have to understand, we have years and years of stupid people, dumb people, uneducated people, people with ressentiment, okay, ressentiment, as Nietzsche said. So envy people, so people with the lowest sentiments, trying to develop way to conquer the power. Okay. This is why the genealogy of morals of Nietzsche is so important, to understand a dynamics that's still present today. And if you allow me to launch a hypothesis, the way that they did this was not only through systematization of some the systematization and weaponization of hostile combination between science and ideology. as we saw in the case of Marxism, of Gramscianism, etc. Not only this, but I really start to see many indicators and evidence for why this started way sooner. Okay, short after the Renaissance. Okay, and the French Revolution was the first expression of a really suspicious movement in mankind. So from down to up, but in a way that these people who were below, when they come in power, they still put power above everything else. So power is the main. Power is a thing in itself. Here's the problem. The problem is not that you come from your slave position, you moralize yourself, you follow virtue, and you become a king. I think this is absolutely beautiful. This is what we do here as composers in some sense. I am speaking about the movement of coming from below with low sentiments, and you keep these low sentiments when you are in the position of power, putting power as your only criteria. Okay. And I can explain the metaphysical and esoteric roots for this. But let's not dive in this water yet. So, this explains a purpose to have a Dukhananda in society, so like a chaos in society. And this multiplication of stupidity is very...
It's 16 hours.
Okay, thanks. It's very, let's say, someone takes profit out of it. And someone takes profit out of harvesting your music in some sense. Okay? Okay. So here's the first chapter of what I wanted to talk about, to expose this problem. Now, this is not really a lesson. It's me drinking a coffee, okay? So please be considerate. Now, what happens? Now let's try to understand which is the consequence of this. Okay, problem. First chapter. Now, second chapter. So the consequence. So, I post my... why should I post my beautiful noir sunrise there? Okay. By the way, give a like. So, which is the point? And I have many others like this. So, but I have to post something to appear, because unlike other guru morons of music theory and composition, I show what I compose. So you can see very clear what I can do, what I can do. You can see the limits of my skills, and this gives you a very transparent orientation of what you can do as a student. And principally, you can understand that one of my main goals is to bring you beyond what I can do, because my whole lesson is based on a very painful analysis of my own mistakes. And this is a very, let's say, very valuable thing. Okay? More than perhaps Mozart teaching you, but he can't even understand which are the mistakes, or how to teach, or how he learned. I don't know. By the way, nice hypothesis, no? But of course you would learn a lot with Mozart. But I mean, I don't think Mozart had to think about pedagogical issues. This is what I'm thinking. So I put my music there. And it's not all. So I have a lot of music saved here for me. Now, more and more, I don't have motivation to post my music there, because it is like it is like a high probability that I get more damage than good. You get the point? So if I post this, this is a lot of work, but it doesn't make so much success. See, what makes us success is Hans Zimmer. Okay, even the most stupid joke. So this is the video with most views in my shorts. So stupid is not because everything I do with a reason. Actually, I'm showing a nice chord progression here. But the point was really to keep you hooked. Okay. This is what the algorithm wants. The algorithm doesn't care absolutely for your music, and I think also people. So the people who a good part of people who watch this, or even in my music channel, composing channel, I would say that 40% they are curious people to see if I am so good like them. Something like this, okay? They are curious people to see how people are doing, okay? I think this is the mindset. So the mindset of appreciation is not there. So people click here, if they click, to see for curiosity, not to actually appreciate and absorb the poetic intent that I have here in my Nibelungen of Fritz Lang. Okay. So, and this is a very concerning thing that created the reason that caused the main motivation for I develop the theory of musical appreciation, because it's not about only about people creating things and composing. It's not exactly this. It's also about having people who appreciate and who can listen. But we don't have this dimension of appreciation and listening because of the very environment in which we are. It's not so much about the quality of your work. Okay, now let's talk about this. First, let me do a test, because I always suspect that I am recording the audio twice. Oops. The combination between, okay, it's good. I have trauma. Because when many of my videos I just start if I have some fresh insight or wanting to talk. Otherwise, I would take days to create a video. So, and then you lose the most important part, that are my ideas, no? So let's think about this. So we don't have the environment. Now, why should you put your music in this sick environment? Okay, so guitar. Yeah, now it's better. But earlier it was always like this. You put guitar, then appears that girl with the guitar in the big tits, sensualizing guitar. And also piano. By the way, alone this is a problem, no? If you put piano, this is what appears. I don't do this every day. I'm doing now, and the reason this is already the reason to not do this every day, because you see how messed up the world is actually. So I try to forget and live in another frequency. But if you observe critically, this is our popular culture. Our popular culture has absolutely zero connection with the high culture. What is the high culture? My definition is the culture that goes beyond its own time, its own present. When you are reading a letter of Mozart and try to understand how he thinks about musical composition, you are engaging in high culture. You are going beyond this nihilist, decadent time in which we are. Okay? So this is the culture of the Regend, as I call it. So the culture of the stimulating, the category of the stimulating, that was perfectly analyzed by Schoenberg in his Metaphysik des Schönen. Okay, Metaphysic of the beautiful. This book here. This book's there, okay? So I studied the whole book and also wrote about it. And this is also part of our course. But the main thing of my course, I bring the best text selection. This is a selection of texts because I know it is for composers, so you don't have all the time to read. And we bring this together in an unified discourse in our discussions in lesson. I hope with other members of the Zoom live meeting, okay? And then this starts to create like the possibility of an unified view of these different texts that a lot of times conflict with each other, and relating them to our present problems. This is what the Schopenhauer can't do. This is only we can do. Okay, and then this is one of the main tests of the philosophy for composers and the philosophy of music course. So we are going to relate these things the best that we can to concrete problems in music. Now, in this environment, it is not so motivating to post your music because you don't have the perceptual frame. The perceptual frame of the proper artwork. Okay? What you are posting is an asset in a portfolio. This is what other people are doing. I am doing this now in Kompositorium because I have more than 400 of this piece. So I can do like this. I don't think you should do like this. So I am in a, I hate call it, but education business. So it's another thing. But I had my channel as a composer and I did this for years. Like saturate, so more than 200 videos. Many are unlisted because when I started, I was not caring about some production aspects. Okay, so typical classical musician thing. So then, which is the point? Okay, which is the point? Now, the solution. I am not saying it is the solution at all, but a solution that we can think about. It's very surprising. It's very surprising. This is to compose music that is written for concerts. Okay. So when you have a concert, Claudio Abado. So when you have a concert situation, this is crucial nowadays. So what happens? Of course, people can record your music and steal anyways, but this is way more unlikely. Okay. Now this is the chapter 3. So the chapter 2 was why post music in this environment with zero perceptual frame for artistic and musical value, high risk of plagiarism and abuse, and minus levels of IQ. Okay, why do this? Big question. Now, if you start writing music for a concert, then what happens? Your music is not only better protected, but you are writing for people who are really going to listen to it. Okay. Now, you're gonna ask, okay, but how Claudio Abbado will never play my music? And here's the thing. This is the whole point of culture. If this person doesn't take the initiative to do this, and this to do this, and the other one to do that, then you don't have the concert situation. So by definition, you can do this thing exactly in the street in where you live. Everything comes to values. So what is valuable for me to do in my day, in my society? You get the point? So nothing, for example, here where I live, in the street where I live, nothing happens. Okay, and I ask why? Because people care about other things. Now, gym happens, football happens, and I am in Vienna. You get the point? So now in other countries, still worse. So football, soccer happens, party happens, everything happens. You get the point? So everything comes to what people find valuable. And this is another, repeating another time, the value of the concept of the idea. And here's the territory of philosophy. Only philosophy will purge this cancer. Okay? Because a kind of inverted philosophy is what is in the basis of this dark globalist elites that organize a systematic destruction of society in different levels. Because this is the easiest way to fulfill the main goal. The main goal is power for its own sake. You should understand this mentality. You don't have this mentality, but other people have this mentality. So the whole universe of ethic, moral, beauty, being sensibilized by the world in a positive way, this doesn't happen. Okay? So a kind of anti-philosophy or inverted philosophy with important esoteric elements drives this negative force. So the only way to purge this will be also in the territory of the philosophy and of a flawless rational discourse so much as possible, and a powerful level of rhetoric. It's not doing a video about I am being sued. Okay? So nothing against his video, but to just saying that this is still not a big deal. Okay, so he should do his video. But just to say, which is the monster? Now, to do such a video, so it's just to put a piece of entertainment. I know it's also functional. He needs to do this because of his dignity or something like this. But at the end of the day, to be just another piece of entertainment, and the biggest part of the money will go to the YouTube and then later to the great banks. Probably. I don't know, but very probably. So the concert music is something that people need to think about. Okay, and this might mean then now ending the chapter 3. So this puts a question. So perhaps chapter 4 now. This puts a question. So which is the point of mock-up? No. So mock-up would be this that inspires you to compose, etc. But what's the point of the flawless mock-up? I don't know. Despite me doing this, so when I hear some older things, of course, we always don't like, no. But I invested an incredible amount of perfectionism in my mock-up technique. Anyways, it's valid to ask, so what is this for? How long does it last? So think about it. Okay, think about it. Principally, the dynamic of posting mock-up online. I gonna keep doing this, at least until things start to get perhaps worse, because the moment there is no other it's like a thing of cost benefit. I still think that for a short time I get more benefit out of this, but as a society and as a community, as a big community of composers, we should think about this. Okay. So how to beat AI plagiarism? Perhaps this means a renaissance of the concert life. And by concert life, I mean also to compose a lead, an area for your friend birthday, and you play another person sing. It's a dimension of music that people absolutely forgot. And later I'm gonna speak about this. I want to speak more about this. So concert is not the big thing only. It can be the chamber music concert. And this is where you are more likely to begin. So compose a duo for violin and flute. And few composers can do this. It's also a very fun fact. Did you ever notice many composers, they can compose for so apparently for a big orchestra, but not for a violin and a flute? Or 2 flutes? Think about this. Now, I end here the reflection. I highly recommend the Leonhard Ulrich. He brings many interesting documents if you are interested in really understanding the problem of the global politics, so the dark global politics. Okay, and this is very important to take into consideration, otherwise you won't understand many things. Now, I still think that he gets wrong some things. The tendency of these people to already start the discourse based on a Christian premise, I find to be a rhetoric flaw for this type of argumentative discourse, because you don't need to, and I think you should not assume that everyone is a Catholic or Christian. Perhaps you might lead to this conclusion, what I find absolutely okay or even important, but I think this is a common. I think it's a rhetoric problem. Kierkegaard was aware of this in his theory of indirect communication. Kierkegaard was Christian. Now, I don't know this docu, but his best one is the first one. Go to his channel. So his first documentary is very good. And as always, they get wrong the dialectic of Hegel. They confuse the dialectic of Hegel with the dialectic of Marx. It's a fascinating mistake that these people make. Okay, so conservatives or conspiracists, if you call it, because not sometimes. So he criticized even the conservatives, actually, at least the Trumpists. He criticized. But in many others, so I always see this mistake of the dialectic of Hegel. And this is a very important mistake, because one thing is a metaphysics, another thing is the Marxist plan. Okay, so dialectic of Hegel is not a plan. It's not a plan of action. It's a description. It's a metaphysics, and it's a huge important insight to understand. It's a development of Aristotle, etc. So I think I said everything that is important in a coffee pause for this topic. Don't forget to visit my channel, watch my Brahms masterclass. So I studied the symphony, the theme of the Fourth Symphony. You will watch me creating and the analysis and how I come to the conclusions, which is the most precious thing to do. And you won't see this on YouTube now anywhere. If you find, put the link below. You won't find this. And another important thing, we do already score reading as well. Okay, so this is not only an overload of information, what is not so hard to do, but we are actively practicing our score reason and analytic skills here. Okay, very important. I also have the video why nothing makes sense. This is important. Music course and music theories, very important. I recommend. Remember to give a like, because ultimately the YouTube doesn't like these videos. They want my Hans Zimmer shorts. It's the only thing that YouTube understands, Hans Zimmer. Another highlight is my Max Steiner King Kong overture. I point out a very important omission by other more famous analysis available principally on YouTube on the score. And again, we do an in-depth score reading with score reading tips. Here I show an overview of my analytic framework, and also it is the only video on YouTube that will explain this. No, not the only. I think I saw other two or three, but it's absolutely anti-mainstream. But very important. I'm given the key to understand how the tradition here of composers in Vienna always did, how they studied pieces. Okay, so you need to understand those things. Negative harmony. Okay, so that's all. Thanks for watching. Please also consider becoming a member. You have how much is the membership? I got a new member. Okay. Hi. So I got a new member yesterday. So the Frank, so the Japanese or Asian guy, and it's €3, €2, the lowest part, and then you get access to all the videos that are member only. I randomly change the videos So for example, now this might be member only, so you never know. So you live in this chaos if you don't become a member. And of course, my most important part is the teaching of tone, sats, harmony, and counterpoint. Many of them member only. Probably some old videos I will liberate for free, and the best videos I will now gradually make for member only. Okay, but the question remains: to do things on internet changed. The systems of plagiarism and copy paste, they are very cruel and violent nowadays. The only reason why I'm sharing also more information that otherwise I would keep for here for the conservatory or private lessons is because now I have full control over it. So I can set to member only or to patron. I have almost full control. But even so, it's a kind of vulnerability that I do, because more and more it's so easy to just copy things. So many stupid students, and this is the correct academic terminology, they need to do exams in music analysis or dissertation, whatever. Then they are probably going to go to my video and copy the tips that I am giving here, okay, on this crucial masterpiece. So they are going to explain, to use my absolute original explanation why the bracts here are doubled, and how this is related to his piano sketching, and very important nuance like this that we will never find in another source. So then it's easy to come here and to copy this information and to use this to have the degree there at Mozarteum and appear as a successful empowered woman. And I say really like this because I saw things like this. So then it pissed me off, absolutely. Okay, so we live in a society of cheating. Okay, I had people asking me at Mozarteum, hey, can you do the exam for me because you know German better? Like 2% of a phase. So they were in Mozarteum longer than me. Okay, so 2 girls. Okay, then think about this. So if you like it, the lesson, if you want more zero bullshit education, so come, subscribe, and see you later. Ciao, ciao.